Well, here we are then, downtown Canmore. Spent 3 nights here now. Flew in on Monday evening. Took a couple of days to get myself adjusted to the jet lag and sort my stuff out. Went out to the shops, bought loads of provisions. Bought far too much. I've had a hell of a job getting it all in my bags, but that's the way it goes. I'm sure I'll eat my way through it. It's a nice day up top. Been raining overnight. You can see the mountains just through the mist, but an awful lot of that is the smoke from the big fires they've got up in Squamish, which is causing evacuations and all sorts of problems. Luckily they're up to the north and I'm going south, so I've just packed the bike up, all the kit's ready to go. I've had a reasonable night's sleep, so feeling pretty good. A little coffee shop over there, so I'm going to go and get myself a typical coffee and cake. You know me, I like my coffee and cake before I start my rides, so I'm going to go and get that, and then I shall put the camera on the bike, and then it's a short hop to Banff, about 15-16 miles, where hopefully I'm going to meet another chap who's doing part of the Tour Divide race, which starts tomorrow, and I'll talk a bit about that later. Well, here we are then, the start of the trail. So down there I'm officially on the GDMBR. Bike is all packed up, as you can see. Absolutely everything in there, way too much kit, but I'm sure I shall shed some of it as I go along. Got myself all sorted. Bit of a grizzly wet day today, but that's okay. I'll put the coat on if I need it. I've had to resort to putting the coat into a Tesco's carrier bag on the front rack because I've got far too much food. That's good. Met another lad in Banff and stopped for a coffee and the world's biggest cinnamon roll, about 700 calories worth of cinnamon roll, so that's a great start to the day in my book. Some stage I ought to eat something savoury because my head is buzzing with sugar. And the ubiquitous tin mug is on the back. Thank you to the family for that, and the all-important message to enjoy the journey before I get to the destination. So very excited, just about to set off, and I'll catch up with you later. Well, welcome back. Weather's turned a bit grotty, so I've had to stop and put a coat on, but it was a good reminder to stop and take a drink as well, because fluid's going to be super important on this. And actually, when it's raining, you tend to forget because you're not hot. I really need to drink. I think on my test ride, which was only 50 miles long, I drank 5.5 litres on a hot sunny day, and the cycle computer, which estimates my required fluid intake, said I should have drunk an 8.5. So I'm carrying about 3.5 litres on the bike at all times, and then I shall stop and filter water at some of the rivers on the way down. I've got a full water filter system, and then for static water I'll filter it, and I've got some of the old-fashioned Puritabs to drop in there and make sure it's absolutely safe. So I've seen plenty of riders out so far, just testing, getting ready for the race tomorrow. When I'm not quite so out of breath, I shall tell you a bit more about the race and about the route I'm doing. But for the moment, I've got this lovely track. I've got the Bow River just to my left hand side. It's not too lumpy, sort of 11% is the worst I've had to deal with so far, but there's more to come. I'm just short of maybe 20 miles from where I started, and I've got about 35 miles to go to the end of today, to the campsite that I'm aiming for. And then I'll do a little update on my camping setup and stuff like that, but for now, because I can see the water getting on the lens, I'll let you go and catch up later. So, getting on with it. The sun's finally come out and it stopped raining, and passed a couple of chaps who come up from Colombia. They've started today, but they're just going as far as Montana, so not too far. But I just thought I'd share some of the scenery now that the sun's come out. I'm just crossing over this lovely little old wooden bridge, and this is the Spray River in the heart of grizzly bear territory, which would terrify the missus, sorry love, terrifies me if I'm perfectly honest. But a beautiful little spot. I got the distances wrong earlier. I didn't have 35 miles to go, I had 50 miles to go, and I've probably only come about 5 miles since then, but it's been pretty wet and pretty lumpy, so I've been going up and down a bit, but it's all good. Really enjoying it. Hopefully you can enjoy the scenery with me. Hello again. So 30 plus miles in now, but not quite halfway for my day. I'm on a gravel track road, the Smith Dorian Trail, which is pretty impressive, but not as impressive as this. This is the scenery that I'm riding alongside at the moment, and we'll be alongside for another few miles, and then unfortunately I briefly have to pick up a bit of road and transit between trails, but that's all right, got to be done. The first campsite that's available to me is actually in about 4 or 5 miles, but I'm feeling pretty good. It's just coming up 2:15 in the afternoon. The rain has stopped, as you can see. It's quite nice. The lake is looking particularly pretty. The road is a pretty grotty gravel track, and I got absolutely covered. I've been splattered. I look like a speckled hen, but I'm sure I can jump in somewhere like this later on and clean off. But so far so good. Day one, making progress, not feeling terrible, but I have to say I could do with a big square meal at the end of this, so looking forward to that. We'll see how that goes. Wow, rubbish views. God, just when you thought it couldn't get any more fun, all the trees have fallen across the track. And trust me, a 35 kilo bike is not very easy to lift over this. And to be fair, in this beautiful but very enclosed territory with a very low lake, I really don't want to be on foot for too long, so I'm going to press on. Right, so still pushing on, but I'm doing more walking than I am riding at the moment, because half the forest seems to have come down over this path, as you can see. Every time I get back on the bike, go around a corner, and there's another lot. And trust me, some of these that you can see are nice and low. I've had ones where I've practiced my limbo dancing and got under them, and then these where this is a full-on bike lift, and that one was easy. Some of them I've had to try and squat the thing over, and it's a long time since I've been in the gym, and I'm not sure that even that would have helped. But anyway, pressing on. Still got 25 miles to do, but it's taken me well over an hour to do the last mile with all this, which has knocked my timing back quite a lot. Luckily, the little bear bell that I was given by my wonderful daughter is rattling away to its heart's content with all this up and down in, so I feel a little safer, which is fantastic. And the problem is, as I clear one set of trees, I've got so little energy left I can barely get back on the bike and pedal. Two of them I had to cross over right in the middle of a swamp, which was wonderful, so I've got soaking wet feet and socks, but hey, I'm here for fun, so you can't deny I'm having it. Right, I'll try and catch my breath and see you later. And when I say the whole forest came down, I'm not actually exaggerating. That is a lot of trees. Most of them seem to have been fallen and look scorched. So there's obviously been a fire, but they've all landed across the route. Well, not all of them, but enough of them to annoy me. So it's 8:05 in the evening and I'm still riding. Taking a lot longer than I anticipated, but I lost so much time with those fallen trees. Got just about 10 miles to go. This trail looks wonderful, but in fact it sucks at your wheels and makes you feel rotty. I took a right turn about 5 miles ago. Huge squadron of all Canadian Mounted Police and conservation officers, and they're just on the boundaries of the G7 summit, but they asked where I was going and stopped, and they couldn't have been nicer. Gave me a couple of power bars and a vitamin energy drink, which I quaffed there and then, which is fantastic. Legs are tired now. This stuff is hard going, but 10 miles to go. Hopefully get the tent set up quickly, get some hot food, very briefly write up my journal, and then I am for the land of Nod. But I'll give you an update when I get to the campsite. Well, good morning. Here we are, camped up. Had a long day yesterday. Went to Canyon Creek. Couldn't get there on the route that was designated, had to add a detour, and I'd had enough by then. I'd done 69 miles, ended up doing 72, but that's okay, got there in the end. And just as I was getting there, 3 Americans turned up who'd left about 4 or 5 hours after me and arrived at the same time. They'd used the eastern side of the lake, whereas I'd used the western, and the western side was the old route, hence all the fallen trees. The eastern side was absolutely fine, a lovely road, and they buzzed along it and halved my time. But it was an adventure. I've got some lovely destruction on my legs, which is great. But we had a good night here. Didn't sleep brilliantly, got some cramp at about 3 in the morning, to be expected. But it's okay. Packed up this morning. I've had a couple of sachets of porridge oats and a cup of tea, of course. And the boys are just finishing their stuff. I've got one last couple of bits to put in the tent, and then I'm away. Absolutely no phone signal, so I can't let anyone know I'm okay, but my dot tracker should be working and they'll see that it's moving this morning, and hopefully they'll assume I'm on a bike, not in the belly of a bear. So I'll keep you updated during the day, but day 2, here we come. It was too late to film last night when I got in. I didn't actually stop riding till 9:45 and the light was failing, so I couldn't take any pictures. But a fantastic campsite. I think you're supposed to pay, but there was no one here, and there's no one here before we go, so that suits me. Catch you up later. So 2 miles in, but look at the view. I had to take a picture. It's stunning. Been on this road for a couple of miles just to pick up the trail from the campsite I should have been in last night. But really beautiful bit of road. Got another mile or so on it, and then we're off into the trail stuff. But great start to the day. Still cycling in a t-shirt, which is probably a bit daft. Everyone else has got a coat on, but I'm sweating like a pig in it already, so it's all good. I'll speak to you later. So the two biggest climbs of the day out of the way, and they were brutal. 21% at one stage, pushing uphill, blowing out of every orifice I had. Really hard work, but I'm sure you can't see it due to the sun. The top says welcome to Elk Valley. It's a wonderfully carved monument, and I am just about to leave Alberta and climb into British Columbia. I've travelled with the 3 Americans up to this point. They've been lovely company, but they are very hardcore and have somehow managed to achieve a lot less on their bike than me, which is a bit depressing. So I'll have to look at what I can throw away, I think. I'm going to push on. They're on their way. They're going to try and do 90 miles today. I'm going to aim for 60. It gets me to the town of Elkford, which apparently has got a couple of eateries and a couple of campgrounds, which would be nice. So scenery is absolutely wonderful, as you can see. I'm going to put the bear bell back on now that I'm travelling on my own, and press on, and I'll catch up with you later. Well, that was fun. Been on this road for an hour or more now. Since entering BC, got on this road, and I'm on it for a long way by the looks of it, almost all the way to Elkford, which is fantastic. But I'm very tired, really feeling it. No specific aches and pains, just general malaise and weariness, I think. But the scenery is just phenomenal. I'll just try and capture that. Absolutely wonderful. So keeping my spirits up by looking at the scenery, which is what it's about. Enjoy the journey, don't worry about getting there in the end, and I will get there. I just need to keep telling myself that. Absolutely no data, no signal, so can't get any messages from people sort of saying keep going, but I know they're all watching, so that's fantastic, and I'll catch up with you later. Well, end of the day. I've been on the same gravel road that I showed you last time for a long way, 40 miles or more. I'm now just come onto some pavement, as they call it, some tarmac, and just pulling into the town of Elkwood, where apparently, no, Elkford, where apparently there's a campsite, and more importantly, a supermarket and a cafe. I shall find out and let you know. Good morning. Day 3. Bit of a later start, awful night's sleep, lots of noise in the campsite till 11:15 last night, which is okay. I slept till about 5:30, and then the rain came in, of course, and got the tent wet, but it's all good, it's all part of the experience. So I took my time packing up, made myself some porridge, cup of tea, and then got myself going. Straight out the gate, down Elkford main street. Lots and lots of trucks. It's a mining town, so there's lots of trucks around and big lorries, but it's okay. I've got my bright orange jacket on because I'm on the road, which means I'm sweating ridiculously. A great start to the day, but it's all good. Hopefully about 60 miles today, but I think I said yesterday primarily downhill, but we'll see how it goes. I'd be grateful if there was a coffee shop at the top. I'll catch up with you later. Welcome back. So definitely reached that point where I've decided that going too quick is definitely a bad move. I still want to try and make my 60 miles today, but if I see something nice at Fernie, which is about 50 miles away, I might have a look at there, maybe a wild camp. But just on this mining road at the moment, just come past the mine, unbelievable scale. Took a picture of one of the Canadian trains there. I counted the carriages because I'm that sad. When I saw a train go through in Canmore, and it was 155 carriages long, and there was one at the mining operation obviously waiting to go as well. Absolutely huge. I didn't film it because it's not a particularly beatific thing to look at, but loads of scenery. Seen my first moose. I think they were probably females, but I don't know because I don't know when they shed antlers. Yeah, they make our deer look like puppies. Just a couple of them in the woods, so not a chance to get a good shot of them. But I did see, unfortunately, a dead one in a ditch at the side of the road, obviously been hit by a truck. And the only reason I noticed it was because of the eagle that was currently having its dinner on top of it. So I managed to get a couple of stills of that. Not brilliant, because obviously as I stopped it decided to fly away. So I've carried on, as I say, down this mining road. Just heading southbound, obviously, towards sort of Sparwood, where there's a great big green tonka toy apparently. Get you some pictures of that later. But just to look at this for something to ride down. There's my gravel trail, and just look at that. Nothing to hear but bird life, lots of American robins around. Saw my first blue jay as well. So absolutely fabulous. Saw some little chicks in the middle of the road, skirted around them because mum was a bit flighty, quite rightly, and saw a lot of gophers earlier, a whole gopher city on a bank there with lots of them standing up like little meerkats on their hind legs, which was quite amusing. Anyway, best press on, and I'll speak to you later. So, only a couple of miles further on again. I'll have to stop taking it every couple of miles. It's get repetitive, but it's so beautiful. Just stopped at Fording River. I've got through my first litre of fluid this morning, and thought rather than go on and just start on another bottle, I might as well just stop. So I've set up my filter system, hang it from the bar there, got a specialist bag, and then onto a Sawyer water filter, and just let gravity do its thing, which is pretty good. You can squeeze it to make it go a bit quicker, but I'm not in a rush, so I'll carry on doing this. So setup's fairly comfortable. Threw a couple of bits of rubbish away this morning that I really didn't need, but really nothing important. Everything so far seems to be stuff that I brought and I have needed. So tail fin is really good. Got everything I need in that. My front rack systems, the jack rack is brilliant. I'm not overly happy with having the tent strapped on the front there, but it clears up a lot of space in other bags, which is good. The bottle system is top line. I'm happy with that, and the pinion gearbox with the carbon drive belt I'm really pleased with as well. So far so good. Slow progress, but I'm really not fussed at the moment. So yeah, just turn around. Yeah, so I'm really not fussed at the moment. If you're laughing at the bandana, you try riding along a mining road with monster trucks coming past and see how much dust they put up. I may look like an old-fashioned cowboy at times, but at least I can breathe, which is a good thing, I think. Certainly as far as I'm concerned anyway. Anyway, see you later. Just coming into Sparwood, but I thought I'd take this chance just to show you what I meant about the trains. You can barely see the engine on the front of this one, and it's just been rolling like that for ages. Probably the one I saw earlier on, but that's an awful lot of coal per bucket, so I reckon that'll keep the fires burning for a little longer. Anyway, I'm off to get some lunch. Well, having had a very adventurous and slow morning, I find myself in Sparwood. I'm just enjoyed a very fattening burger and chips, which was wonderful, and now I'm staring at the world's biggest Tonka toy. It's difficult to understand quite how big this thing is. It's huge. I'm older now, so I've shrunken back a bit, so I don't stand quite 6 foot tall, and I don't come to just above where the axle is on one wheel. So it is absolutely enormous, as you can see. Absolutely huge. Anyway, I'm going to shorten my day today. I'm not going to make it all the way to the campground I wanted, and to be fair, it's fairly isolated. Having had a traumatic morning with a road that was washed out with a landslide and scrabbling across frantically, I'm going to opt to go to Fernie, which is about another 20 miles away, get a campsite there. I'm still going to be late, still going to be 6 o'clock, but hopefully I can just crawl straight into bed once I've dried everything off. It's actually 69 degrees at the moment, which is quite nice, very pleasant, and 20 miles to go, so let's press on. Well, this is rather nice, just outside of Sparwood. Thought it was going to take me into the golf club at one point, but just before it, turned right into the woods, and here we are, negotiating a lovely bit of single track. I know you can probably just about see my tent strapped to the front of the bike, but oh, that's a bit of a steep one. But yeah, lovely bit of trail, apart from that little hilly bit. Oh look, there's the golf club. Super stuff. So hopefully I've got a few miles of this, which would be very pleasant to do between here and Fernie, whizzing between the trees. Well, as whizzy as a silly old man on a hugely heavy bike can be. Anyway, yes, make sure the bear belt's going. Well, not had this issue before. This could be challenging. It's not this bit I'm worried about, it's this bit here. Oh well, in for a penny, in for a dunking. Yeah, wet feet, wet feet, wet feet. Oh, that was cold. That was very, very cold. Yep, oh well, saved me washing my socks tonight. On this little dirt road now, running parallel to the highway. Steady progress. This bit here is quite nice. Some of it is extraordinarily stony and bumpy, which has made me realise I probably haven't put enough hours in the saddle, because the contact points are a little tender, shouldn't put it like that. But it's okay. Good time. I'm just going to pick you up and say hello. Scenery stunning, as you can see. Hills up in the background, long trees. It's obviously a telegraph pole road. I've got access, which is nice. But yeah, it's a little potholed and bumpy, and as we just discovered, slightly damp in places. That's not a bad thing. I almost wish I'd had time to get off and get in, I think. So I think I'm about 10 miles from Fernie. We'll see what we get when we get there. I've suddenly taken a hankering for something very cold. I've drunk 4 litres so far. Over exactly 40 miles has just clicked up, so doing reasonably well, but it's quite hot out here, and obviously punching this thing along doesn't help. So anyway, we're making progress. So it's been filmed many times before, but not by me, so I will. I'm arriving in the small town of Fernie.